Hey guys, it's Trek, and this is a review of the new Nerf Zombiestrike Longshot CS-12, and I use the term new here in an interesting way because it isn't really a new blaster. It's an old friend that's been repainted and sent back onto the shelves at the request of Target by Hasbro. Now, let's start with the packaging, and then I'll talk about why this blaster is so important, where it falls short, and then where it succeeds. So, to begin with, this is a complete recolor of the Longshot. We've never had this kind of teal, green, blue before, and the striping is interesting. The scope, the original Longshot scopes were either blue or yellow like this, and it's coming with elite darts now instead of the old streamlined darts. So it's a complete recolor. The stock is different. This used to have some paint on it, like black accenting, but it is, by and large, the same exact shell. And we'll get onto that later. Down here we have that it's a clip system blaster, that it's Z Squad, Longshot, exclusive to Target for the moment. We have the Zombiestrike logo, and then on the back here we have all of the information about how this is a tactical blaster, etc. All the different things, how to load it, how to prime it, etc. And so the packaging is nice. It's a nice repackaging. Now, let's talk about things that are missing. The original Longshot came with a front gun attachment, which a lot of people looked down upon, but I've always thought was A, really great, because it gave you a built-in blaster that you could integrate if you wanted to for a secondary shot, and it also gives you a nice platform and barrel attachment that's very large, very smooth, and lets you do some just absolutely awesome cosplay type things and prop building and replicas. Moving along, it also does not have the bipod. The original Longshot, because it was so much longer, had a bipod that would pop down and let you kind of stand it up so that you wouldn't have to do this ridiculous number here. Now, I think that that's plenty enough talking about it in the package, and I should come in here and get it out. So there's that. It's held in by 3 pieces of twine. There, and then down here we have one more. Alright, so blaster itself still has its original model number, still has the instructions, the squad logo here, but it still has the 2006 Hasbro Maker's Mark, which means that they haven't changed the shell at all. Now that's good and bad. It's good because it means that you can still do all of the awesome things that the Longshot is known for, which is cosmetic mods and internal mods, and it means that it still has the same plunger system, which is huge. The plunger system is larger, it encapsulates basically this portion of the blaster, and it has a breech system up here for clip system feeding, but it's important because it means that you can do some sort of sealed breech, you can come in and brass it, you can add just ridiculous spring combinations up to and including 14 kilograms without having the bipod. It means that it's easier to integrate a shotgun foregrip, so you don't have to use the traditional priming method, and this just clicks into place, and you can hear, same priming indicator, that it's completely the same internals. Now looking inside, you can see that it still has its air release hole, it still has this 2-part breech, and all of this is good. One thing that isn't good is it has the old style dart tooth. You can see down in there, hopefully, from one angle or another. The old style dart tooth does not agree with new elite style darts, and I've got some elites loaded up here. The blaster does come with 12 special serum darts, which are just recolored elite darts, and a 12 clip, but I thought it would be easier to not fool with them and just come pre-prepared. So the problem is that it has a hard time chambering streamlines. Stock is also adjustable, it's worth mentioning. Now I should be able to get some decent shots, but you can see that we're really only getting about 20 feet there, and that's with the elevation drop, so realistically our ranges are probably about 15 feet. With an angled shot, we're getting about 30. That could have been 35. That was much better, actually. But the problem is that it jams with elite darts frequently, and it's just not designed for elite darts because it was built in 2006. Now that isn't to say this is a bad blaster, that is just to say that it doesn't compete with an elite series blaster. The elite series blasters also have the direct plunger these days and perform very, very nicely, but this can't compete with that. It doesn't have the same spring constant behind it, it doesn't have the same barrel fit or dart chambering, and so it really kind of falls short of what the market expects from an elite Nerf gun these days. And so it's not the best buy at $35 unless you are planning on modding this blaster. I will say that this blaster is much beloved and very special because it just has so much potential to be turned into something just absolutely awesome. So if you want to start a project that you think would be just really great and a primary, just an awesome rifle slash integration slash whatever, I would recommend buying this blaster. It's MSRPing at $35. 35 American dollars at Target in the United States right now, and it'll appear other places at other prices. But the Longshot is and always will be just a great candidate for integrations. This entire space of the blaster is unnecessary, which means it's easy to stick something on here, it's easy to build something onto the top, it's easy to minimize it completely, cut here, and use this giant plunger tube to make a singled Longshot rifle. There's just a ton of different things you can do with it. If you need any examples of cool things you can do with long shots, let's put the Spartan shot here, the Night Fury here, and the Sophia right here. Those are three really awesome long shot builds that are all pretty simple and within the grasp of most Nerfers. So that's my review of the Longshot Zombiestrike review or reshell, and I think that while it doesn't look like much on the shelf, or maybe it looks like more than what it is on the shelf, it is important to remember that this blaster was requested and is special not because of what it is, but because of what it can be. And that's part of what makes the modding community so great, is that we don't have to have things that are perfect right out of the box. We, as a community, have learned and kind of grown to be able to build things into exactly what we want them to be. So I, for one, am very glad that an entire new generation of Nerfers will have access to the Longshot outside of thrifting and picking them up on eBay, because it's really convenient to be able to just go to your local store and pick one up. And in all honesty, it's just not terrible stock. Like, with light modifications, the blaster is still performing pretty nicely. I've gone through almost this entire clip and I haven't had a single mischambering or jam. That said, I've been firing pretty slowly. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of reshells in general and what you think of this blaster, if it makes you happy that it's back on the market, if you're upset that they didn't change the dart tooth or upgrade the spring. Just, it's a discussion worth having, and it's an interesting conversation, so feel free to speak up and be heard in the comments section below.